I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt. Once again, we're back to another video. This is another paid request, this time from Joseph. If anyone wants to send in any requests for any reviews, topics, reactions, pretty much any type of stuff, you send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both things are down below in the info box. Now, this is for the 1997 film Redline, also known as Deathline, but I always remember as Redline. And it's funny, Mark Dacascos is very prevalent in the picture, but I don't think he's as prevalent in the movie as this is advertised as saying. And it's directed by Tibor Takas. Now, this came out in 1997, and this is a time when, I don't know what the deal is with this guy. He made The Date. Very young Stephen Dorff starred in that. Very imaginative, creative, where these kids find the gateway to hell in the backyard, all these different creatures, and again, just with the small budget they had, all the creativity they utilized in making The Date was impressive. But for some reason, that director never really brought that to the table later on. The Date 2 I thought was disappointing. Then he started doing action films like this, and he worked with Mark Dacascos a few times, because he did, I want to say, maybe he did Sabotage, which I would say is better than this. I could be wrong on that. I know he did Sanctuary, which, that's a Mark Dacascos film I wasn't really big on. Sabotage, at least you had Tony Todd as a villain, and as Mark Dacascos and Carrie-Anne Moss, and there's certain creativity in the direction where you had like a sniper bullet, seeing this POV, because that was about these guys going after a sniper, played by Tony Todd. So Sabotage at least had some creative visual moments on that nature, because the more I think about it, I think it was him who directed that. But then you have stuff like this, and this, I don't know if I could say I hated the film, but it's a very meh movie. I would say one of the reasons I don't hate it is because I like Rutger Hauer, and I miss Rutger. He's a very talented actor. He would play a good guy, a solid good guy, like in Split Second and Blind Fury, Wanted Dead or Alive, or a very intimidating bad guy, The Hitcher, Nighthawks, of course, Blade Runner. And it's just one of those things where Rutger Hauer is doing the best that he can, but the movie itself, I think it's a rather mediocre effort. And that's probably the best way to describe this, is mediocre. Because the plot of the film, Rutger Hauer is with Mark Dacascos and this other lady. I swear, at the beginning, it sounds like Mark Dacascos is trying to do a Russian accent. If that's the case, then that fucking disappears quickly. because the movie's supposed to take place in Russia. They're in this plane. This other guy has this weird hose connected to his head while Rutger is sleeping. I'm like, this isn't really a good first impression movie. Your lead is sleeping, and this other guy has this cheap-looking hose connected to his head. Rutger, Mark, and the girl leave. The other guy's still in the plane. Imagine a grenade, but if it was a flying futuristic vehicle chopper with a Swiss Army knife, like all this shit coming out of it. Imagine a floating giant grenade, but it was also like a Swiss Army knife thing, with poor visuals. And blows up their plane with that guy in it. Rutger Hauer blows it with a rocket launcher. Things seem fine. Mark DeCastro shoots Rutger Hauer and then shoots the girl. And this idea, Mark at one point is doing a Russian accent, but then that's forgotten. Of course, turncoat, fuck you, I want the shit for my own. Rutger Hauer's left for dead. Then these Russians come in, these Russian soldiers. They decide to bring Rutger Hauer, but not the girl back. I don't know why. They're doing this experiment about resurrection. Experimental process that ultimately brings them back from the dead. You have two bodies. Why don't you have both of them so that if one screws up, we got a spare? No, they decide to get Rutger but burn the girl's body. I don't know why you would not want her body as a spare, or bring both of them back so if one screws up, the other's fine. No. We'll just pick one. I did. And why they picked Rutger Hauer out of everybody? Even in Universal Soldier, it made more sense where, okay, it's soldiers. It's a military operation. It's Vietnam. Pack them in ice. They just randomly select Rutger Hauer as if there's no other dead bodies to select, but whatever. They do that, otherwise there'd be no fucking movie. And this is a future where you can have video conference, but with corded phones. Literally a phone with a fucking cord that you twiddle your fucking fingers with. I'm like, well, if you have a video conference, why don't you just talk to the video? Why do you have to have a phone to talk to the person? But whatever. It's not a big deal. Now Marta Costas has no accent. And it very much underutilizes Mark. Because he's a talented martial artist. He only gets to use it in one point where he beats up a guy. But other than that, he never uses martial arts. And at times he's almost forgotten about because there's this other stuff going on. And he's supposed to be the main villain, but he dies and there's like 15 minutes left of the movie. So that's what I mean. Despite his how prevalent he is on the cover, he's not as much of a force in the movie. Now, I'm trying to see if there's any other names I recognize. Director of photography, Zoltan David. Wow, someone's name is actually Zoltan. Wasn't that a fucking thing in... Was it Dude, Where's My Car? No, Zoltan. Really? Zoltan? The DP was Zoltan. Tibor Takas, I gotta blame for most of it because he wrote the film and he directed it. The 1-2 punch of death. So, okay, Mark, we're establishing it sometime later. They're bringing Rutger Hauer back to life with this experimental process. Meanwhile, Mark, he's now rising up in the crime lord figurehead. He beats up a guy who owes him. Nice double high kick. Like the only thing he gets to do in the movie worth a shit. the girl cuts off this guy's fingers and Mark puts the fingers into the guy's mouth. That was a crazy, weird, interesting bit that I didn't see coming. But then nothing's really done with Mark after that. Rutger Hauer, on the other hand, he wakes up, he knocks out a lesbian nurse who's wearing red. We know she's a lesbian because the scene prior she was kissing another girl. And then, boom, immediately, Rutger Hauer's outside in a cemetery with a big coat and a hat. Again, let me specify. This is an experimental procedure. Obviously, a shitload of money. He wakes up. He knocks out a nurse. The next scene, he is all the way outside in a cemetery with this coat and this hat. Where the coat came from, where the hat came from, how the fuck he escaped, how the fuck did he get all the way to a cemetery, I don't know. By editing, that's how. Just by editing. By the magic of editing. We don't want to show the shit. We're too cheap to show the shit. Just edit it. Where did he get the clothes? You figure it out. They came out of his ass. I don't know. There's some random guy there too. Just because. So then, of course, Rutger Hauer is going to look for Mark's character. So then it's him going from A to B to C to try to find the guy who shot him. He finds one guy who's playing like a VR. He's got a VR set, but the footage is like a Sega CD game. The quality, the look of a Sega CD game, but he's doing the VR stuff. And I will say, at least the movie tries a little bit to feature an environment of a post-apocalyptic setting. So at least the production value is not too bad, not too shabby for what I could assume was a low budget. The way the sets look and how run down things look, and you know, they have a number of extras, so yeah, a good chunk of extra people to. But at the same time, another point, it goes from post-apocalyptic world, run down, then they're in a club that could be in Russia today, like a modern, fucking club. So sometimes it's weird like that. Rutger Hauer, I just like him as an actor. I miss the guy a lot. I was very saddened when I heard he passed away, because I think he's one of those talented guys that would get roles, but never get like big roles in mainstream Hollywood after a point. Because they tried him as a star, the films didn't do well. Split Second, Wanted Dead or Alive, Blind Fury, they didn't do well. So once in a while, maybe a direct-to-video film, but mainstream, not really. Unless he had a bit role in Sin City or a bit role in a Batman movie, but not like a lead big budget role. Put it that way. And he's just Rutger going from A to B to C trying the information. Rutger at one time rents a room, has a little headset on, where he imagines sex in a shower with a naked lady, then imagines a naked lady shooting him, then he wakes up, and then, the VR thing. He goes to another place. One girl is training on a punching bag topless. I don't know why she's training the punching bag while being topless. Glad to appreciate it because she looks good topless, but okay, and this is a world where women train topless. I'd be down for that. And then people, I guess, working with Mark, one naked chick tries to strangle him. You get little shootouts in the movie, nothing to run home about, but I mean, once in a while is decent. Once in a while you get a shootout, and Tibor, the director, has some slow motion, people crashing through windows. Once in a while, there's some decent stuff with that. ultimately goes with this lady. I forget who the lady's name was. Yeah, I literally forgot what the fuck her name was. And of course, him and the lady, they start liking each other. They start talking with each other. Then Mark is talking with his superiors at one point in a public bath, so all three of them are naked in this public bath. And this is the point I'm going, Mark Dacascos is really being underused. Like, this is a guy who's talented. He's talented in martial arts. He's talented in gunfights, gun battles, utilizing that physical talent like you would see in previous films, like Drive. Hell, in fact, Drive came out the same year, now that I think about it, 1997. So, as it was going at this point, I'm like, okay, this is maybe so-so at best. Is that the worst thing I've seen? Because I like Rutger Hauer, Mark Dacascos. Even being underutilized, it's nice to see him in there. It tries to have a rundown world at times. There's some nudity. Nice to see that. The shootouts at times, some decent slow motion bits, okay. Like, at best serviceable if it's a late rainy night and you're on cable, for those who watch cable nowadays. Like, it's now Netflix, whatever. Like, okay, background noise. But then Rutger Hauer gets captured, and then it really peters out. Because he's captured, and the guy who resuscitates him goes, you need to go kill Mark Dacascos. Okay. Goes to kill Mark Dacascos. Mark beats him up a bit. Rutger has a gun in his ankle, shoots him in the chest, shoots him in the head. That's it for Mark. If you expect anything grand, big, epic, I'm not expecting Rutger Hauer to have a big fist fight with Mark Dacascos, but it's like, come on, man. Like a shootout, at least. Something, but no. We got like 15 minutes left of the film. The girl fights this bad chick. Mark was following orders from this other guy whose organization was going to run the country. So Rutger Hauer shoots him. Then you find out that the girl's been working with the Russians who resuscitated him, I guess to keep an eye on him. The Russian guy's like, here, I will give you the money. But of course he's doing a turncoat. So then the girl shoots him. So Rutger Hauer goes up to her, like, was any of it real? Did you really love me? He walks away. She has a gun on him. She's like, no, please come back. He comes back. They kiss. They're on a train with the money. And then things are good. The end. So, I don't even know what to say about the film. It's just very mediocre at the very least. At the very most, not the very least. At the very most, it's mediocre. It's nothing that made me angry, but just, I would say it's a Rutger Hauer and Mark Dacascos are two actors that could have been used much better. You got a couple alright shootout scenes. You got some nudity, some alright environment production design of showing a rundown world. But then the next shot would be this club that could be in today, in Russia, in Mother Russia. I can't think of anything clever or interesting with the story that you didn't see in stuff like Universal Soldier, among other films where they bring people back from the dead. And that's why it's called Redline. Is he Redline, Rutger Hauer? Mark's not even really the main villain, technically. There's a guy above him, then there's the Russian guy. There's no car chases. There's, other than the beginning, like the explosions you only see at the very beginning of the film, with the plane and that grenade, Star Wars looking chopper thing. Well, there's nothing that futuristic throughout the rest of the movie. Like, it never tries to do anything special effects wise like that. I guess a drone type of thing throughout the rest of the picture. Just they spend all their money on that effect. And really the reason I got this DVD was for this film. Like, this is a decent direct-to-video film. Top of the world. Peter Weller, Dennis Hopper, Tia Carrera, Terry Tagawa, directed by Sidney J. Fury, who did The Taking of Beverly Hills. This has some pretty good action scenes, including one stolen and put into a Steven Seagal flick, where it's an armored car and Peter Weller's on top and it's in Vegas. That was stolen and put into Steven Seagal's Today You Die, I believe. This is pretty decent. This one, not so much. So take that for what you will. So thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later.